the Cosmic Boss, aka Cosmic Nerd Life, aka Boss Carter. What's up, pimpin'?
What is up, everybody out there? What is up, Scooter Ray? What is up? What is up?
How you feeling?
We just got a little side mission today. I'm feeling good, feeling great. Hair done, Monday.
Yeah, I see you up there shaking it for the people.
Look,
you know what
man,
I'm saying?
Look. Willow whip my hair back and forth.
You sitting there shaking it for the people. But so today we got this little banter bonus here where hopefully our other guests will be coming through. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna keep it a little surprise for now, but Boss and I gonna kind of banter on for a little bit until he can show up. So before I hit record, Boss asked an interesting question that I think everybody should hear. Take it away.
Absolutely. All right, so I forget what the name of the gaming company writer article, like online gaming magazine that made this. So they posed this question in terms of video games right now. You can play one right now, the rest get delayed to 2024. And it was out of these 4 games, all of them superhero games. You got Batman Gotham Knights. So if you're familiar with the Arkham City games, this one you play is basically all the Robins and Batgirl.
Yes.
You have Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League, made by Rocksteady, the people that did the Batman Arkham City games and all those, where you play as
which one was made? Which one is made by Rocksteady and which one is made by the other people?
Rocksteady is making the Suicide Squad game.
Okay.
So Gotham Knights, I think, is just a new team,
right?
Yeah. And so, but yeah, those were the first 2. So Gotham Knights, Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. Third was the new Guardians of the Galaxy game that was just announced at E3 this year, like last week. And number 4 was Marvel Spider-Man 2, PS5. So you can play one right now. The other 3 get delayed to 2024.
So I could tell you off the bat, I really don't, as of now, I don't have no interest in the Guardians game. So that can wait to 2024.
I can feel that.
You threw me for a loop when you added Spider-Man. Because I was going to say, maybe Suicide Squad kills the Justice League. But for the people out there, I am a DC head. If you see behind me, there is a giant Batman poster. But unfortunately, this time I'm gonna have to go with Spidey.
Same here.
Yeah, I'm not even front. I'm not going to even.
It's so easy, Spider-Man, for me, because it's so far ahead. You could even say 2025 you delay those others, and I'd be like, man, that's cool with me. Look, because the way Spider-Man PS4 started, progressed, middle, ended, its citations, all that, whatever kind of journalistic gobbledygook you want to get into, that game was magnificent.
Yes.
Like, easily my top 10 games of last generation.
I was work with you, because that was a game like I played and platinumed in a week. To put it in even more perspective, I was on a work trip in Vegas, and the way I was feeling, Vegas could wait. Vegas could wait because I'm playing Spidey right now.
Exactly. Like, I went through that game so quick. Like, I got to the point where I was like, okay, I realized the game is winding down. So let me go ahead and get all these collectibles. And I went and got all the collectibles, got all the little the trophies that I could get. And then I finished it, and when those credits rolled, the platinum popped. Like, I Like I did everything before I could finish this game the first time. And so
I'm trying to think. Did I go through the same thing? It might have been something very similar with me, where I probably did everything and then beating the game, popped the platinum. But like I said, when I said I played through that game, literally getting off of work.
right. Oh man! Like here's the thing.
I'm a demonstrator.
I see you got the red boy.
No, that's the PS4. That's the berry.
Oh, okay, the berry blue. Okay, but
yeah, and then too. I mean, then Miles Morales. That was a great expansion.
Oh, wasn't it? Game. And then the way they both ended with their credit scenes. So let's not spoil it too much. Even though Spider-Man PS4 came out 3 years ago, Miles was only last year. So we're not gonna spoil it. But let me just say this: I am ready for the sequel to both of them. Like, I cannot wait. I am excited to see what they can do. Like, just
I'm excited more for the fact of I have a feeling they're gonna mesh both worlds. Because you can see that they're gonna go the route of Spider-Man and Miles are gonna be together. Like, yeah, you're gonna have Spider-Man missions, yeah, you're gonna have Miles missions, and there's gonna be times where you might be switching between both of them.
Okay.
I do see Spider-Man 2 having both of them in there, and it's gonna be just a big.
Here's a question for you. If they're both in there, do you think they pull a mechanic like a Resident Evil 0 and a GTA 5 where you could switch between them both freely and they're both doing their own separate thing? Not so much RE0 because you had to keep switching back and forth between one to continue with the story, but GTA 5 where like you swap one and then all of a sudden you just jump in and one of them is just doing some off the wall shit. Like they in the middle of a fight, let's say. That is. But
I can see that. Yes. Right. I can see it. And then maybe specific missions you will have to play with Miles or Pete, but I can 100% see it. Okay. I can definitely see it.
Because they're gonna do it because they had those MJ and Miles sections in the first one, and now, so they're probably not gonna go back to that too much. Because
I was about to say, if they take the MJ stuff out, I would be so happy. I wouldn't miss it, to be honest with you. The whole stealth missions, I wouldn't miss it.
Like, here's the thing. I didn't mind the MJ ones. It was the Miles ones that was like super linear for me that I didn't like. But the MJ one when she was in Norman's penthouse,
that
one was cool.
That was a cool one. That
was a good one for me. Like, I loved sneaking around that house with all those guards there and then trying to get in the secret lab and all that shit. But I love that one.
Like that one.
But yeah, if they get rid of those and they keep it like purely Spider-Man, they got to throw Miles in there. Because you have to break it up.
I can 100% see both of them in this game together. It's gonna just be a matter of you know what? I never thought about it in the way of, like you said, with Grand Theft Auto, where you switch to Pete and Pete over there buying a slice of pizza or something, and he like, huh? Like,
right? Like, cause I still need to go back and finish the main story of GTA 5, but that shit is long. But
it is.
Like you would just switch, and then like Franklin would just be in an argument with his homeboy. And then when you do whatever you're gonna do with him, you switch to Trevor, and he's just curb stomping somebody. But
somebody has something to say about you not finishing GTA 5.
Look, Irania, it is the single player that I have not finished. Okay, it was something you never touched. Thank you.
Ooh, shots.
Right? You got the game to jump straight into online and just started slanging drugs and buying masks. That's it.
Hold on.
Oh, she got so. Oh, yeah, she hissing. Yeah, she a curled up snake now.
Hold on. Wait. Wait, I played GTA 5 strictly for the story. I never even touched online yet.
Right? Like, look, I
never touched the online.
It just loved the story. Same thing with Red Dead. Like, I jumped into Red Dead Online. It was like, this is like the last time I played that was when we were getting hit by them cheaters.
wait. Excuse me?
Oh, yeah. There was some cheaters in Red Dead Redemption Online when me and Aranya hopped on and we were playing, and we were just riding around trying to do missions, minding our own business, and we get sniped from miles away. Like, where it would go into the kill cam, that's the term, and couldn't even see my character.
Yeah.
Couldn't even see him. And not just cheaters, but griefers as well. Like, we just trying to go in these shops and all this, and we would get roped off our horses, tied up, and they'd just carried around. And as soon as we were about to break free, they shoot us and then track us down and do the same shit. So it's like, you know what? Fuck this, then. And so we never went back to that. I continued doing the single player, but
yeah, I haven't even touched RDR2 yet.
Oh man, look, that game. Like, here's the thing about RDR2.
Her response to what you said.
She says they suck. Oh yeah, them griefers suck. Like, cause like we never went back to that thing after that. Like, but here's what I'll say about RDR2.
It's funny about you saying you being handled, because all I can remember is us playing Dying Light, and I think Zerk and I was kind of exploring, and I don't know if you was with her, but all you hear around, I'm getting handled. I'm getting handled. They handled me. It was the fear in the worriness in her voice, because it was like, I'm getting handled.
We got to go back to Dying Light real soon. But anyway, the reason that happens is because Dying Light, at any game that requires a high level or even a medium to high level of analog coordination, basically third person or first person type game, she's going to have issues with. Not so much difficulty, just issues.
Yeah.
Because they're not her normal type of game. So, like, some she will find difficult, aka the Soulsborne games. Others she will power through and enjoy as hell.
You mentioned those.
So, but man, like, get handled. Oh, but yeah, like,
handled.
And here's the thing I'll say about RDR2. In terms of open world games and what the future of those games would be, there's 3 games that sit at the peak right now for me.
Okay.
Above, and we've played through many in our, like, going back, the last 2.5 decades of open world games. Number 1, well, they're not in any particular order, but Witcher 3, Breath of the Wild, and Red Dead Redemption 2. The reason
I have not played neither one of those. I played a scotch of Breath of the Wild. But the other 2 I have not played.
Here's the thing, and I can give you reasons for each. Breath of the Wild first. because you can climb up anything. It is the most physics-driven overworld, period. And just the discovery of enemies. Yeah.
I've seen mad videos of people doing dumb shit in Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, just the physics and the discovery and exploration and journey through that world is top-notch. The Witcher 3, there is so fucking much in that world. And I mean, it is large. It is essentially 3 large areas. The smallest is an island that is bigger, that is about the same size of a Just Cause open world.
Damn.
And like, you will walk across this world or ride across on horseback. You will run into fights. You will run through towns, and you will just see plenty of mission markers pop up. You will vacate the main story so far behind. Like, I am in the very beginnings of that game's main story, and I've put maybe 40 hours in that game.
Well, see,
I have done maybe 4 story missions.
Well, see, that was the issue I had with Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I loved Assassin's Creed Odyssey, especially Cassandra. I think, to me, Cassandra is one of the best women characters and overall characters in gaming, probably within the last 10 years. Like, if I have to make a top 10 list, Cassandra is in the top 10.
Okay.
The issue I had with it was the fact that they had that marker and all them question marks were on the marker. And it was like, oh, I want to go over here and see what this is. Oh, I want to see what this is. So wait, hold on. So there were times to like put it in geographical terms. I'm supposed to be in Sugarland doing the mission. I'm all the way in like Louisiana. Then it's like, wait, I'm nowhere near the mission, but there's so many question marks that I must go to.
Here's the thing, because they came on sale like 3 years ago. It was like shortly, like 6 months after Odyssey had released. They came in a dual pack, Origins and Odyssey. Yeah, like you got the ultimate editions of each for like $30, and I was like, go on here, slide me that. Like, I jumped into Origins. Man, there's so fucking much in that world. And like, it is so fucking populated. Like, I'm over here trying to find this serial killer who has me on this island of crocodiles that are all red skulls. And it's like, I can't kill none of them. So I'm just up here trying to climb these columns. Like, just don't fall, cause that's my ass. But, you know, like, those games are just so fucking large. And but that's the thing. And like, even to go back to the other 3, like, that's The Witcher. Like, there's just so fucking much. But everything, every story mission or even side mission you do is insane and deep as just any other game's main story missions. Like, I could just run off a couple side missions that don't have nothing to do with the main story. Yeah. You run in the swamps, you run across this little wild boy. Like child, look like a little demon. He's wild and lives out in the swamps by himself. You basically stumble upon his nest. Leads you down a pack that these 3 fucking witches live in the swamps, and they eat children. They kidnap children. They boil them, and these are like they're called the crones. It like, man, like, and if like the way you go about and talking to people, and you get to there, like, you can either kill them, side with them, or a whole bunch of other shit. And just like, they'll just leave you alone. Others, like, there's this one with the Red Baron that you meet. He's like this ruler over this one little township. You come to find out, he hires you for a mission to go find his wife and daughter. What happened to them? Oh, they ran away. Because he beat them, like abused them. He beat the wife so bad she like went mute for a time, caused her to have a miscarriage. The daughter wants nothing to do with him. You go find the wife to try to bring her back. That's when you find all this shit out. And she's like, forget, she's either sick or cursed at this point. But like she's under the spell of the chromes, which is another way you can go back and end up finding them. You come back, you tell him that they're not coming back, and then you shame him for it. And then like you could basically talk him into wanting to absolve himself. You basically have to go find where he buried this miscarriage, because this was a miscarriage, and like this baby was like 6 months. So it's now become a monster. So yeah, so you have to basically escort him to go get this thing, and if he doesn't keep it calm and happy, it will grow to the size of like a griffin and eat us all. And so like you could, like, if you don't escort him perfectly back to where he says and performs the rites, you got to kill this monster, and it's gonna kill him. Fortunately, I was able to get him all the way up there, and he was able to absolve himself. But like another one, you had to find a serial killer who is killing men and basically just eating their essence, basically. And then you find it's a succubus. I let her go.
WTF, and these are all side missions?
These are side missions. Like, and she was a succubus, and I let her go because she's black. And I was like, oh, you go on ahead, sister. Like, you doing the Lord's work. You go on ahead, keep doing what you're doing. So, but like,
these are some intense ass side missions.
But yeah, like that's the Red Dead Redemption 2 is kind of the same thing, just more of the combination of the other two. You just journey around, you discover shit. You can end up finding a cabin in the woods where this guy will basically says he like if you wake up, he'll offers you in a drink. You wake up the next day, he's gone, and your butt hurts. Yeah. Yeah.
Wait. Hold on.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. You done got delivered. Another one.
This was Orius.
Yep. Another one, you find this you go on this mission to find this family, and you find out they're a bunch of Hills Have Eyes type cannibals, and another I ran across this other house doing this mission looking for this this revolver, and this woman sitting there talking about it like, my husband will be back, and I'm like, okay, I'm walking in the house and I noticed the pictures, and I'm like, that's your husband? And it's like, yeah, we've been together since we were kids. And I'm like, brother and sister. Yeah. They done killed the parents, and now they're married.
Okay, hold on. All right, people. So we got to do this right in grand fashion. Don't adjust your screens. This is the first time ever we have a Less Than Stealthy Ninjas / The Average Gamer crossover right now. So welcome in LipDizzle or LipDizzle if you're nasty. Welcome, sir. We can't hear you. Your audio.
Bam, how we sounding now?
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
And
all
even,
right, perfect.
And even Aranya wanted to.
What's happening? But we got to say it right though. We got to say the first of many.
Yes, you're right. The first of many. So if people do keep up, I do represent both brands here, the Average Gamers and Less Than Stealthy Ninjas. So it's just all one big circle here.
All encompassing.
Full circle. So right now, Mr. Dizzle, Boss is regaling us in the tales of Red Dead Redemption here, because he's telling me about some of these wild ass.
Scooter has not played it. Are you familiar? So I was telling him how I ran across one house, and this woman was telling me, like, my husband will be back soon, but I'm inside and I'm just looking around, and I noticed the pictures. And I'm like, that's your husband. And it come to find out, she's like, they've been together since they were kids. And you like, oh, and then you find out they're brother and sister, and they killed the parents. And they just been married ever since. And I'm just like, well, like, so,
wait, so you haven't played any Red Dead Redemption 1 or 2?
I played the first one, but I haven't played the second one yet. So yeah, I played the first one. So now that Mr. Dizzle is here, we can get to our main subject at hand. So Boss said he's seen an article similar to mine and maybe the same one. So basically, I woke up this morning and I saw an article discussing that it's been a year since The Last of Us 2 has came out, and that the controversies that still surround it.
I think that might be the same one from the Collider.
I think so.
Okay, that's the same one I saw.
So, all three of us have played and beat this game, and I think we all might have 3 different opinions of the game. So, first things first, I want to ask is, did y'all see any controversies personally with the game?
I mean, yes and no. I mean, I had my own gripes with certain things, but as far as like a general consensus of what a lot of stuff that people were pissed off about, yeah, I can see that. Like, I mean, spoiler alert for those who haven't played. Oh
no! Wait! Before we get into this, people, full-fledged spoilers will be happening. So if you have not played The Last of Us 2, do not listen to the rest of this. We going all the way in with spoilers and everything. So if you hadn't played it, then look away. But
my gripe, which was like a lot of people's, was the fact that Joel dying within like the first hour of the game, if that.
Yeah.
And I feel that the overall game itself felt like it should have been like a 3rd installment. I felt like the flashback stuff that was going on, they could have easily had that as like a part 2. And then they could have had this going on, because you could have easily introduced Abby within like the 2nd installment and then gone through and done this shit, because it would have made a lot more sense with like Joel's death and everything like that. But just it left a bad taste in my mouth, because I didn't like Abby in the beginning, and I had to come around to with them forcing me to play her the way that they did. It forced me to accept her in a way. So that's kind of what pissed me off. Like, I didn't get a chance to do like in the first game, where it's like I was in the relationship with, Ellie and Joel, and kind of going through that whole aspect and going through that whole ride. With this, it's like you put Abby in that position to be like, oh, you are forced to play with this person. You are forced to like this person. You are forced to accept this person as is. So yeah, very conflicting.
Okay. So in terms of controversies that I personally saw, I saw none. Like, to this day, I love this game from beginning to end. It probably will go back and forth if I dive into my 10 favorite PS4 games. Like, it's going to either be number 1 or number 2. Like, just everything.
Okay.
I like in my.
Let me guess. Well, hold on. Let me guess. The other one being God of War.
God of War. God of War will fight. There's like 2-3 others that God of War will fight for that second place. If Last of Us 2 is number 1, God of War is fighting that second place spot with like at least 3 others. That being Bloodborne, Persona 5, and Overwatch.
That's
Overwatch, a nice list. Because I put so fucking many hours into that game. Like
same.
Like, but like, so it's in a battle royale for that number 2 spot. If I put Last of Us 2 as number 1, but that's not the discussion. But Last of Us 2,
that was a Ryan's response.
But like The Last of Us 2, like I did my best to stay away from the leaks, from the spoilers, because people got upset during the middle of the pandemic when they started, like, why was this getting delayed, blah blah blah. And I was like, what? I'm not reading
to that.
Yeah, to Bloodborne. Yeah. she never made it out of Yarnum. That's not here nor there. But
well, okay, that makes sense then.
But so I did my best. So I did not know what was going to happen. I had a feeling, because I was like, why are people upset? Like, there's only a few things I could think like people would be upset by. And I was like, because my mind, the trailers we all saw, if y'all remember, the way they showed the trailers, it made it look like her girlfriend was going to be the one that was going to get kept.
That's true.
Yes. Like if you go back and watch those trailers, it's like, they just show her more. They show Joel rarely. They show it's like people were up to that game release and they thought Joel was going to be in there. Hello, Tina.
We're not trying to shame her, Tina. It's just we know how she is towards those type of games, and it's just a tad bit funny,
right?
we still love her though.
Yeah. So, but like, if you remember, like there were people speculating that either Joel was dead or like he was not going to be the playable character, which Naughty Dog confirmed. They didn't say if he was dead or not. They just said you're going to be playing as Ellie throughout this whole game.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay.
Well,
so something's going to happen to him.
Well, and don't forget too, at that E3 event we went to, they showed that trailer with Dina and Ellie. So it definitely made it seem like something was going to happen to Dina.
Like to her. Like they didn't give any kind of like clue that something was going to happen to Joel. And then when it did, I was just like, okay, that's where we going. And now it was like, from that point on, when she was sitting at the grave in the town, I was like, we need to go get these people because they done capped the boy. And here's the thing. I played through the first one so much. I love that first one.
Same.
I don't know how anybody else feels about this, but at the end of that game, I did not like Joel. I appreciated everything. Here's the thing. No. Let me say this. I appreciated everything he did, and I enjoyed him as he was the hero up until the hospital. When the hospital happened, and he made the choice. Well, basically, they forced you to make the choice: kill all the Fireflies and take Ellie. At that point, when he walked in that surgery room and he capped the doctor and he walked out with her, he was the villain from that point on.
So let me ask you this: since we are discussing Last of Us in general, and that was brought up into, you wouldn't have made that same decision?
I don't know. I probably would have, but then I would still be the asshole that doomed the rest of humanity to live in this hell for selfish reasons.
Do we know it would have worked though?
That's what my stance is too. On
that's the
point. We don't, but it was a chance.
It
was a chance. Like you could look at if you watch any horror movie about zombies or any horror movie about where a contagion happens, if you have a chance at a cure, you take that shit. Take it. Because I'm not gonna try to sneak around these motherfuckers forever.
That's true. Yeah.
Take it. Somebody do something. Because eventually it's gonna wear on you. You're just gonna be like we see it all the time, whether it be The Walking Dead, The Night of the Living Dead. Eventually, people's mental just goes out the window, and they cap themselves. You know what?
You brought up a great point. There are two types of people who are in this world today in that game. You're either born into this world or you've seen it firsthand when it all went down and you survived it.
Yes. Correct.
So if you're part of the second group, there's no way your mental is going to keep up.
No
way. There's no way.
And like we saw that in the first one. Remember when they went to go see Bill?
Yes.
When they went looking for his boyfriend and his old boy was hanging in that living room. He was tired. He was done. So it's you gotta think about like that. Like even we all just went through a pandemic and how the suicide rates went up. People just can't handle. Like that's not even zombie related. That's just simple.
And don't forget, they even explored it with Avengers Endgame, because everybody going into Endgame did not expect for them to say it was 5 years in between Thanos and Snap.
No, especially not see Captain America in basically an AA meeting. Like, look, like this is bad. Like we all fucked right now. Like this, like that's the thing. Like even if it hadn't worked and she would have passed, like you had to take that chance, because otherwise you had the clickers, you had the bloaters, you had the regular just runners. Like it was. And then all the hunters and the bandits that just like will ambush you and just kill you and take the clothes off your back. Like, you gotta take that chance. And at that point, when he took that chance and opportunity away for selfish reasons, not entirely for hers, because remember, she wanted to go.
It was 100% selfish.
Like she wanted to go. So then he lied to her face, and we all saw how that first one ended, how she looked dead in his eyes, was like, okay, like you could see she didn't believe him.
Fam, I gasped at that ending. The thing is that you didn't still know that was the end. And next thing you know, she was like, look me in my face and tell me the truth. And then he lied right to her, and then you just see that shot of Ellie, and I was like, oh.
Right, and then it just cuts to black, and then the guitar comes on, like, and it's like, what? Wait, come back.
and you know what? And this is the good thing about it too, because one, Naughty Dog storytelling. I mean, you think about the whole Uncharted series, but thinking about how the beginning of Last of Us 1 started, and then of course with the decision that Joel made, because again, him reliving the fact of him losing his daughter in the beginning.
Yes.
It's very conflicting, and they do such a good job. Even in part 2, they make a lot of things very conflicting. And again, now, boss, I don't know how you feel or how you felt about the introduction of Abby and then having to play Abby, but the way that they do the whole conflicting thing with her taking out Joel the way she did, and then having to play her, it's a whole just roller coaster of emotion that you go through during that time, to where it's like, I don't even know if I even care to run her through this shit, because she can die for all I care. That's the mindset that you go through when you're playing it, up until the point to where you get the characters that surround her, and it's like, damn, like she's human. She's an actual person. She got friends. She has family, and that's what I mean by like the whole forcing you to care, because it's like you can't, like you had to be evil to sit there and then play this and then not give a shit about what's going on in her life after they've showed everything that's going on. So now I bring the question to you, boss. How did you feel when Abby was introduced and you had to play her?
Because here's how I felt. So when they first have you play as her, she's looking like her and her friends are out there looking. They're in the snow, and I'm like, who the fuck are these people? Like, so I don't know why they were there. They didn't say any names up until Joel rescued her. Like,
that's true.
When they finally got back to the fence, and they were like, and he was like, yo, this my brother Tommy. My name's Joel. And then you see everybody in there like, what?
Oh yeah,
And like, nobody said any names up until that point. And then next thing you know, she comes out of nowhere with that shotgun and just bow right there in the kneecap with that howl. Like, just like up until that point, I was like, wait a minute, what the fuck is happening here? Like who are these people? And then the golf club happened, and I was like, we got to kill every one of these people. I'm like,
right.
I'm like, none of them gonna live. Like, they better not give me no kind of like quick time event, because I'm gonna fail it once or twice toward the end just to relive it.
So let me rewind back. So my personal controversy I had with it personally, I thought the game was too long. And I never thought about it until what you said was that some of the flashbacks could have been his own game.
Yeah.
Then it could have led up to, now getting back to it, you know how much revenge is on your mind to where this man just saved your life. And then when you realize who saved your life, oh, it's still on site, my guy. Like, it's still on site.
That's the thing.
And literally, look, the whole time I'm playing with Ellie, I'm like, get to the house. As soon as you walk into that room.
Yes. Like, that was the thing. I'm like, I'm gonna get there in time. Like, I'm thinking of it like from an open world RPG perspective. Yeah. I'm gonna get there in time. Like, I'm gonna save him. Like, I'm gonna save him. I'm gonna save them both. And then like it didn't happen. And then like you didn't play, like if I remember correctly, you didn't play with Abby again until like Ellie and Dina got to the theater?
Yeah.
The theater, and then they hear that commotion after waking up, and they come in there and like the old buddy's on the ground, and she's like, we let you live and you wasted it, and she points the gun at you. And then they just completely swap you over to Abby. And it's at that point you wake up in the stadium. Yeah. And all these people, they got farming going. They got dogs running around. They got children in school. They got on announcements talking about it's burrito day. What the fuck is going on here? Like, y'all, like, and then you could just see, like, these people live in lavish. Like, and so.
And they were well organized too.
Yes. And they are well organized. Like,
they got a system.
Like, even more so than the Fireflies were. Like, this, like, this shit is on a whole, like, you can see how they locked down a city. And so
to go back to what you kind of asked Boss Dizzle, the issue I had with Abby was, don't wait until everything went down and then showed me, oh, she's after revenge because that doctor you killed was her dad.
Yeah.
It was like, it's a little too late. Now, granted, did I start to feel for Abby a little bit? A little bit. Especially what happened at the end when we get there. Now, the controversies was, of course, one with Joel dying. Joel had to go.
Yeah, he had to go.
Yes.
I agree. Your past will always catch up to you no matter what you do. It's always going to catch up to you.
I mean, if you look at it, Joel was either going to die by a sacrifice or, like you just said, his past was going to catch up. Joel wasn't going to make it out this game regardless of how we felt.
Exactly. Because remember in the first one, like when Ellie and them was sitting there talking about when he first got to Pittsburgh and those bandits, and that guy was like, help. And he was like, oh, no, that's a trap. Like, how do you know? We used to do it to people. Like, you remember, like, him and Tommy were them people that just ambushed and killed folks. So, you know, like, there was probably a whole, and then he was a smuggler. And remember how him and Tess killed old Bud because he didn't have their guns. And it was like, you pissed off a lot of people in the 20 years since this shit happened, didn't you?
And don't forget, when they kidnapped Joe, he was like, are we going to do this? Like, are we going to do this? Y'all going to keep talking. Like, Joe knew then this was the end. He knew right then and there that, fam, I ain't about to make it out this cutscene. Like,
because like he had done it enough. He knew his time was up. Like, he knew it was over for him, because up until that point, like, if you, like, when you first get control of Ellie and you like walking around the house, you go in his room, you see like he's tried to change in like the 5 or so years between the first and the second one. Like, you see he's got all these handcrafted guitars, all these little models and pictures he done drew. Like, you know, he's tried to change. He's tried to wipe his hands of blood, but like,
it's gonna catch up.
Human nature is gonna catch up with you. Like, you piss somebody off the right way, they gonna come for your throat. And they did.
Now, we were kind of leaning into it. So another controversy was revenge is bad. Revenge is bad.
Okay.
Mr. Dizzle, what are your thoughts on the whole revenge is bad controversy?
Okay, so this is going to be a bigger response to this shit, because this goes with a lot of other shit. When we talk about a moral compass, this is where the whole deal of cancel culture comes into play, and it being the effect on entertainment, games, movies, TV, so on and so forth. When you have to say something like that, it's contradictory to say something like that when you allow everything else going on. Like, you had no issues with the way that TV has a narrative and they do certain things here and there. You have no issues with, if you bring in Marvel, thing, they went for revenge to go after Thanos. No one ever said that was bad. Thanos snap, they went for revenge. Nobody criticized that at all. It's one of these situations here where you have a game where people look for something to be mad about. I've had my gripes with Last of Us 2 for certain reasons, but I've come around because, again, if you look at the game as a whole, it is a masterpiece, narratively speaking. So when you talk about revenge, there are consequences, and that's been a big thing. And just like you guys have brought up with the whole Joel thing, Joel made a decision. There are consequences to those actions. So when you talk about revenge, Abby, as negative as it was in the beginning for me to play her, in my opinion, it made sense because he made that decision to kill those doctors. She went out for revenge. His past was catching up to him with her growing up and going after him. So I don't even think revenge is even the best way to say it. I think karma's the best way to say it.
You're right. At the end of the day,
I can agree with that, because
what you got, boss? What you got?
People saying revenge is bad. Like, here's the thing: her going to get what she saw as justice. We've all said, like, he had it coming. However you feel about Joel, at that point, no matter how much you try to change, he had it coming. And by the time I was like through to that game, like, the part that made me turn around and start liking Abby was when she ran into the sisters. The siblings.
Yes.
The siblings in the forest. When she ran into what was it? Lynn and Yara?
Lev? Yeah. Was it Lev?
Lev and Yara.
Lev.
Okay. The trans character and the sister Yara. Like when she started to protect them, who she had been in this war with for fucking ever. Like, remember, like, even
wait, hold on. Let me interject right quick.
Yeah.
The Seraphites was the scariest things I ever came across in the last 5 years.
When I was walking through that park and I heard that whistle, I'm like, the fuck is this? And then I hopped over that bank and I got an arrow in the shoulder. No, bro. Who out here? Like, who out here? Like, I was stomach crawling for a while.
They were out there.
And cloaked. But anyway, what you were saying. But anyway, so like, you remember, like as you progress through playing with Abby and she's talking with them, and then you find, like, they just worship this and they're just peaceful and they all this and they just trying to get back to nature, and they get into the discussion, like, they don't even remember there was a truce once upon a time. They don't even remember who fired the first shot, who broke that truce. Like it was like in the little documents that you find, it was like it was your people that did it. No, it was yours. Blah blah blah. It was like, okay, it's basically the same thing about war. We don't know who started it, but it's going on, and it's just gonna continue to go on until either we're all gone.
Yeah. Not only that, the war was happening so long that they even had a slanderous term when they was being called scars. And Yara and Lev kept saying, "Stop calling us that." So that just lets you know that they had technical racial terms for the Seraphites. So that's just how long and how deep that rivalry was to where they had racial terms for each other. So
right, and like, and to like jump ahead from there, that's when that's where I started feeling for Abby. Like that's where I started to come around. But jump ahead and skip so many steps when you saw what Tommy was doing by himself with just that long rifle. Like boy was capping everybody.
Well, hold on. Right. I'm pretty sure Mr. Dizzle remembers this because I said it on our first episode of Vote With Your Wallet. And boss, I've told you this, and I still stand by this a year later. Tommy is still a whole hoe.
He said, "Fuck Tommy."
Fuck Tommy. Tommy is a whole hoe, and we'll get to that in a minute. But Tommy is a whole hoe.
But basically, skip past that part with Tommy doing his thing. Then basically, like
hold on.
All these people.
Hold on. Before you continue, right quick. Regardless of Tommy being a whole hoe, goddamn, that man can shoot.
Whew.
He was plugging my ass many a times.
But getting across that freeway was just like, look, man.
Yeah.
Like I need some smoke grenades and flashbangs real quick. But like skip ahead to that past all that, and Ellie was catching up to all her friends, all Abby's friends, and it was just like when she killed the pregnant girl. And it was just like, you gotta let this go at some point because like this can't keep happening. And then you had the showdown between the two of them in that theater, and Abby had her dead to rights again. Like again. This was like the third time.
If it wasn't for Lev, Ellie would have been done.
Yeah, she would have been done. And it was just like, don't let me see you again. And it was like, and Dina gave her that ultimatum: you go. You won't see me or the baby ever again. And she
steps in Tommy. Let me interject. Steps in Tommy because one, Tommy got shot in the fucking face.
Yeah, he did. And now he looked like the Elephant Man.
so Dina had the baby. They living on the fucking farm on the little house on the prairie type shit.
Jesse got hurt because of that. Like, remember that?
Yeah, and then he come, like you said, half Elephant Man limping and shit. Hey, you promised me. And it was like, fam, you barely made it.
Right? Like, we both barely made it. Like, what you mean? And then like
and look, when that scene happened, in my head, I was like, y'all are even. Yes, they killed Joe.
At that point,
yes, they killed old buddy. I can't remember his name.
Tied.
Let it go.
Like the score was tied at that point. Let it go. Like that shit go. But like she had that epiphany in that flashback. It was like,
no, Ellie and Tommy killed more of their people than what she did.
Correct. Like they came and killed one. They went and caused a whole bunch of shit to where all her friends got capped. Like, you gotta let that go. And then you come like when they went back to Abby and Lev, and then Lev had her hair and they got caught by what was that group? The Rattlers. And then a few months pass and Ellie catches up, and then you finally find them on those fucking poles out on the beach.
Damn.
I was like, let them go. Like, just let it stop at that point.
And then, like, she literally, look, and once again, this plays into mental health. She literally sat there. They got on the boat, and she was like, "Nah, fam, we still gonna do this." And Abby was like, "Fam,
no, we're not." And Ellie pulled out that knife and like, "We is," or I'm. And she held it to Lev's neck, and I was like, "The fuck are you doing? Like, just let it go."
Let it go.
Like, just, and then like after that whole fight, she ended up losing two fingers.
Yeah. Which is fucking crazy because during that whole game, all these fucking mini games with the fucking guitar.
Man, boy, look, Like, look, that was the thing. You notice that too, right? Like all those little moments, she was sitting there playing the guitar. And then she, at the end, when she goes back after losing them fingers and all her shit is in that little room and they left her, she tries to play the guitar and she can't get the notes right. And you realize these are the consequences of your decisions. Like, you alone and you can't do shit that Joel taught you to do. So, it's like this, like he said, narratively, this was a masterpiece. Like, and it's so many themes and so much stuff that you just have to analyze. Yes. Like, when people say games are art, and I don't just mean pretty or visually stunning, this is one you could put up and be like, this is art story-wise.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
And that's like, because there's so much to unpack with shit like this. And this is why I disagree with their whole gripe about the whole thing about revenge is bad. And it's more about karma because of the fact that let's take Ellie into consideration here and think about she left on a mission for revenge. Abby let her go once. She still kept going. She let her go again. She could have stopped right there. She had Dina, she had the baby, she had a home, everything was fine. They all got away with a few casualties. But she couldn't let it go. And then she went back, saved Abby, tried to kill Abby again, lost 2 fingers, and just like Scoot said, you can't even do the one thing that Joel left you because you allowed revenge to consume you, and you just could not let it go.
Correct. Now, like, in terms of revenge is bad, the only gaming franchise I could think of where revenge is bad is not The Last of Us or even Part 2. It's those first 6 God of War games.
Absolutely.
God of War 1, 2, 3, the 2 handhelds, and what was the other one? Ascension, when they had the multiplayer.
Ascension, yeah.
But we tend to kind of forget about Ascension. You can leave Ascension.
we do. This character, Kratos, probably one of gaming's 5 greatest badasses in history.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because and through actions entirely his fault. His fault. Spartan warrior general leading wars. When he got his ass kicked by what was the he wasn't the Mongol, what was that group's name? Look, you remember from the first one, the big bearded one that came back as like a mini as a boss later. Like, he asked for help from the gods and they gave it to him. And then through your own blind rage, you killed your own family, and then you put the blame not on yourself, but on the gods. And then you begged them to help you forget, which they don't really have the power to do. You need therapy. And so you just kept going around doing whatever you thought was necessary to help you forget shit instead of what you needed to do. And then you just killed God after God after God after innocent people. Like, remember in the first game, to even get through the temple, he had to drag an innocent dude in a cage to be sacrificed on flames.
And that game, and look, hey, boss, how we tend to say it, his
man had a leather skirt with no pockets. Couldn't carry a fuck.
He had a loincloth full of weapons, but there was not a fuck in that loincloth.
Fuck in his garter belt at all.
All those weapons can fit, but he couldn't fit a fuck in there.
And then the last with God of War 3, when he was killing the principal gods of Olympus. Yeah. When he killed Poseidon, and that flooded the world, and you as the player could see his actions, but he was still blind to it. You like, fam, you destroying the world right now. When he killed Hera and all the plants and vegetation died. Like, when he killed Hades and all the souls escaped and the dead came back. It's like, bro.
I mean, and not only that, don't forget how they tricked you with the Zeus thing, how you just kept tapping circle You like,
man, look,
Yeah.
I was pressing that button for a good 15 minutes. Like, I didn't think it was done. Like, I knew better. You weren't gonna trick me and come back on my ass. No. So, like, that man destroyed the world, got stabbed, and then crawled off a cliff and ended up in a Norse world. Like, that is where you could say revenge is bad, because he killed possibly billions for his own personal gain. Like, so, you know, like, we could talk about what Joel and the revenge in The Last of Us 1 and 2, but Joel didn't do what he did out of revenge. That wasn't revenge. That was out of love, the way he saved Ellie, like, you know, and doomed the world. That wasn't vengeance. What Abby thought was vengeance was actually justice. What Ellie was doing was vengeance. And so, you know,
and it left her with nothing.
So, you know, I can't really say Last of Us 2 is about vengeance or that vengeance is bad. Like, I can't put that on that narrative. I can't do it.
Well, I think a lot what happened was the game did come out last year. Mm-hmm. At that time, we were all sitting at home, and you had a lot of these people who probably really don't play video games like that, who was making these big ass think pieces. Mm-hmm. And you know, sometimes a game is just a game. Sometimes 1 + 1 is 2, and they was making these grand things in their head, and it was like, I didn't even think about all of this. Like, how did that come across your mind when you was playing this? But this is where we're at now.
Right.
Well, go ahead.
No, I mean, we got to think about it like this. I mean, especially with a lot of people having their gripes and their opinions on all the stuff, that could even that out. We didn't have these same issues in Last of Us 1, because, I mean, think about it now. Let's say Last of Us 1 came out right now, and you think about Ellie's boss fight with
David.
I think David.
I know where you're about to say David.
Yeah, the scariest boss fight ever.
You think about that, and you think about how cancel culture is right now. You think they would let that shit slide right now with a boss fight like that? Because, I mean, that, just like you said, it is a scary boss fight if you think about Ellie being a little girl.
And what he was saying. Correct. Yeah. Because that was what? That was what? 2012, 2011?
Yeah.
2012, 2013. Yeah.
So for the people out there, he implied sexual assault and cannibalism.
Was going to happen.
Like, excuse me?
Yeah, to a little girl at that time. That's what he was implying. And
to think about it, he didn't care that the restaurant was burning down. He was still trying to get it.
Yes. No, he locked the doors with that shit on fire. He was gonna get what he wanted, and the man had a what was it? No, he had a gun. No, he had the machete.
Yeah, he had the machete.
No, wait a minute. Yeah, he had the machete and a gun.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, you had nothing but just cover in a restaurant that basically looked like if Texas Roadhouse expanded to 3 shops. That's basically what it looked like.
Yes.
Like, you had nothing but bottles and bricks. And your pocket knife. That was it. And he was implying sexual assault. He was like, once he was done with you, you were going to be food for the camp. Like, that was that. And man, shout out to to Nathan Drake for voicing that character, because I did not know it was him.
That was,
man.
Now,
wait, that was Nolan North that did that shit?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Nolan North was David.
That was Nolan North. Yeah.
Now, another controversy, which is kind of serendipitous considering the month it is. Many people thought Naughty Dog was pushing the LGBTQ plus agenda also too. And personally, what I have to say to that is, get over yourselves.
Just
get over yourselves.
You can't praise video games as being equal to movies, music, and other forms of art, and then have that art not represent reality. You can't do it. You can't have your cake and eat it too. Like you cannot do that. It has to be representative of the reality. And they didn't even put it in your face.
No,
they saw Abby and that she was basically swole and was like, she's trans.
That's why I had nicknamed her Swobigail.
But yeah, like Abby liked men. We all saw that in the game. We saw the boat scene. So like there was no, even in the, like if you were to say they were pushing the LGBT agenda, they gave you that 10 years ago in the first one.
Thank you.
They gave you that 10 years ago in the first one and the expansion pack. They basically explicitly said Bill had a husband. They gave you the point in the expansion pack when Ellie and her friend, when they first got bit in the mall, how they were in love. They gave you all that in the first one. You didn't have shit to say about it then. Like now you got problems with it. Why? like there wasn't even that much in here. There was just the same normal shit Ellie had with Dina, and then Lev, which wasn't even at the forefront. Lev, plain and simple, said, "I'm a girl. I wanted to go out hunting with the boys and fight, so I masked myself as a boy and shaved off my hair." What else? What agenda are you looking for?
See, yeah, exactly. And here's the thing, and here's the problem with that. Again, people looking for a reason to be mad at stuff, so they pinpoint things, but they forget because all logic goes out the window when you have people that just try to get pissed off at something. Anything that they said was trying to push an agenda made sense in the story. Again, Ellie, they already talked about how she was a lesbian. This played into the story in the very beginning with her and Dina, and then it played out with old dude in the bar where he was mad at her. Continuing on story, let's take on Abby. Abby got buffed so she could take care of herself. It wasn't anything about, her trying to be a man or nothing like that. Again, she did like dudes. Perfectly fine. She just got buffed. Simple as that. Lev made sense with the whole deal of the way that they carried themselves as a community, and they said that was like forbidden. So they marked her. They marked Lev as
what was the term they used? It wasn't infidel or nothing. It was. What was that term they were using? Because like basically those people, they took them out to that park, hung them, and then disemboweled them. Like what was that term?
I forgot what was they using.
Did they say abomination? I don't want to say they said abomination.
I forgot what it was that they were using.
Look, all I know is it was bad, and I was like, y'all ain't about to touch this kid no more.
I remember a few years back when DC was doing their reboots with the comics. One of the things that they were exploring was Wonder Woman and the fact that there were lesbian relationships. And one of the writers was like, it's an island full of women. What do you expect was going to happen?
Like, what do you think is going to happen? And you got to think, like all these women, except for the queen, what was her name? Hippolyta? Look.
Yes.
Basically, the queen, the general, and Wonder Woman are the only ones who ever seen a man. They don't know what anything phallic looks like. So there's no dildos on this island. So where do you think they get their pleasure from? Like, come on now. Like, come on now. That's not a large leap. That's a crack in the road to jump over. That is not a large leap to have, man. Like, it's like Dizzle said, you looking for issues. Like, like you soft and you looking for issues to be mad at. Like, that's what this is. Like, oh man, like it's just like let it go.
They had listed in that article.
Let me see. I think I still got it up. Hold on.
Because like I said, I mean, it was just some of the same old, and it was just like kind of like what you said earlier, Dizzle. It was like, I don't understand how this can be in a TV show or this can be in a movie. It's perfectly fine.
Yeah. Okay.
Put it in.
All right. So I'm looking at it. The first one is stupid. Worst game ever, but you never played it. Second one is Joel would never have made that mistake and trusted Abby and her group at that beginning point right before he died.
Yeah, he would have.
He would have like when he trusted Henry and old buddy after they basically left him for dead. Like
that whole horde came out of nowhere. You had no choice.
Shit. Others are saying The Last of Us 2 isn't canon, so they in their own little world and just
wait,
whatever.
What?
Wait,
yeah, wait, yeah. I'm looking at it. It says a lot of people, well, not a lot, but there's a groups basically saying that this is Last of Us Part 2 is fan fiction and is no longer in the franchise's established canon.
That's delusional.
Yeah,
it's highly delusional.
Fucking delusional.
That's the definition of delusional.
Jesus.
The next one is the worst ending of any game they've ever played. You've probably played 3 games in your life because I can list a whole bunch more.
Yes. I can list a lot of games that had a horrible ending.
Whew. But yeah, that's all that's in that article. But worst ending, like, so ending the cycle of violence is a bad ending to you. You wanted the character that you grew to love over 2 games to get her revenge and kill this other person who was justified in doing what she was doing and continuing that cycle to where if she had killed Abby, we know for a fact Lev was gonna come for you.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And Lev wasn't gonna just like walk up to you. Lev was gonna hit you with that silent arrow from across the field, and you just not gonna know it's coming. And then you would have got upset with that. Like it would have just kept going, and then somebody would have came for Lev, probably Dina, and it would just kept going. It has to end somewhere. Like,
hey, now can we get a little comical a little bit for a second? Can we discuss the fact that while Ellie was on her second revenge tour, Dina moved the fuck out that house and took everything except for that one room. She took everything, including the animals. She took the animals
quick. Like, she had that shit packed and moved back to that city fast. Like she had a workable moving truck and 2 U-Hauls. Like this is that was impressive. She said she was out, and she was out. Like she had a whole baby to worry about. Like, man. Oh man.
But and then it's like that's even more crazy. She told you, if you go, we will not be here. And what Ellie do? All right, fam, we'll see. And Dina showed her better than she could tell her.
Right?
All right, so before we wrap this up, boss, any last words with Last of Us 2 a year later? Anything you have to say?
Yeah. If they do make a part 3, I can't wait to play it in 5 years. You know. I don't know if they do make it. I don't know where they would go. If they would continue with Ellie, or if this would be entirely new people, or if they would continue with Abby and Lev, I don't know. But if they do decide to make it, I'm cool. I'll be there to play it. So,
all right, Mr. Dizzle, any last words with Last of Us 2 a year later?
Fuck the Rat King.
Yes. Yes. You know what? I'm glad you just brought that up. We might stretch this out a little bit more. Here, I was like, Abby, look, at that point in time, I paused the game and telepathically was like, Abby, I don't like you, you don't like me, but we got to get through this together. This motherfucker that came out as an amalgamation of everything.
Here's the thing.
We got to survive.
When that shit happened, because like you first get to that area as Ellie, you have no idea about this thing. Like you don't even go down there. This is an area closed off. You can't go until you get knocked down that hall, and then old girl breathes in the spores, and she's like, "Fuck you," and then you just beat her. Abby goes down there before that, and then all them fuckers just start climbing out the walls. It's like, hey, man, look, I was moving so fucking slow in that area. Like I'm just like don't I'm keeping my cursor on the wall. Like, don't you fucking move. I got my back to open doors. I'm watching this thing on the wall. Don't you fucking move. And then you hear that giant commotion. You're like, what the hell is that? And then you read the little notes talking about this was where ground zero in this city happened.
Ground fucking zero.
And then it's like, you wait a minute. And so these things have been down here that long? That's nearly 30 years. Like, fam, what is down here? And then you realize it's all the ones combined into one giant one. Because, like, when you go through that wrecked hall and you see the blood trail it has, it's like, okay, the trail goes this way, I'm going this way. And you head towards the ambulance. And it's like, okay. And then old buddy just opens that door like, hello, no. Let me go. Like, I was minding my business. Like, you go over there.
Yeah.
Like, man,
I totally forgot about that until you just said it. It totally slipped my mind.
Like, man, you climb through that little window, he climbing through the back of the ambulance. Like, I'm gonna get you still. Like, open this door, get out. And I just started booking it. I'm throwing mines. I'm like, look, fam, this is it.
Exhausted my ammo. I threw everything in it.
Yeah, same.
Like, and then when you did enough damage, and then what was it? Which one broke off first? The stalker broke off and ran.
Yeah, I think it was stalker. Yeah,
ran in.
That's why I was like, oh fuck that.
And then I was like, okay. And then I'm sitting over here fighting the big one, and all of a sudden, the hell, oh buddy, he comes back around for seconds. I'm like, wait a minute, now you supposed to be hiding. Like, they up there trying to double team. I'm like, It's just like, man, I started a new game on my PS5 with the update. I do not look forward to playing that fucker on the last resort difficulty. I do not look forward to it.
No.
I'm good. I'm good.
Like,
the final thoughts I have is kind of on the same lines. I have two, of course. It's kind of on the same lines of Mr. Dizzle. Fuck the stalkers, especially them bastards that hid in the wall. Fuck them.
Look, of all the new enemies, fuck them the most. Yeah. Look, especially when you had to go through that dilapidated building.
Yeah.
Yeah,
fuck them.
Yeah. Fuck that building.
Yes. The what was it? The hotel as Abby, and then the office as Ellie, where they just kept peeking around the corner, and I'm just like, look, fam, I see you. Like, just, and then you run up on them and they just not be there, and it's like, no, we just not gonna do this. We just not gonna do this. like I'm just gonna sit in this corner and I'm gonna wait for y'all to come to me. Shit, because no, fam, I'm not about to chase y'all all over here. And no, fuck them.
And of course, my last sentiment, Tommy, you know what you did. You a ho. You a ho. You a ho. So, with that being said, this is the first of many crossovers between the average gamers and the less than stealthy ninjas. But I will borrow from my man LipDizzle here. Boss, can you tell the people where can they find you on socials, PlayStation, whatever? Where can they follow you if they want to?
All right, so you can follow me on Instagram at Cosmic Nerd Life, or on Twitch at twitch.tv/Cosmic_Nerd Life. And so you can also catch us at twitch.tv LessThanStealthyNinjas. Same with Instagram, it's all one word. And Twitch, check us out there because we stream just about everything, and we got some good ones coming for you. We will be going back to Dead Island and Dying Light pretty soon. And so Iran is going to get art every now and then. Zerk is going to lose his knees. So like we going to be in there. We going to be in that thing.
Mr. Dizzle, where can these people find you other than Black Planet and Farmers Only and
wait a minute, bro.
OnlyFans and Plenty of Fish, and
yeah.
Oh, hey. This transcends shows. This just ain't on Tag Me In. This transcends shows. But yes, boss, this is a running gag that me and Jaeger Bombastic do. That Lip is on all these other platforms. He just don't want to tell.
Well, people. In that case, you can catch me on Tagged at Cosmic Nerd Life. Like even on AIM and Friendster. Hit my AIM. I'll message back eventually.
Should have said I'll message back eventually.
Go and give him that drug dealer beeper number, Lip.
You can. Of course, you can find us on the Tag YouTube. Every week we do reviews on AEW and NXT and all that good shit. As far as the socials, IG, Twitter, TikTok, all LipDizzle. If you need that positivity in your life, you can always hit up Lifestyle One Up to get the daily dose. Also, IG, TikTok, soon to be YouTube on that one. But yeah, that's where you can find this guy.
And of course, myself. Once again, you can catch me with the Ninjas on the weekends or whenever. Of course, Let's Stealthy Ninjas, one big word. Of course, the podcast is on our YouTube and it's on audio form. We're on Google Podcasts, Anchor, Spotify, and a bunch of other podcasts that Anchor ships our podcast to. Of course, you can find me with LipDizzle and Jaeger Bombastic, with Tag Me In. Soon to be doing Vote With Your Wallet again.
That's right.
So you can catch us just you know what I'm saying? Just keep up with all of us. You know what I'm saying? These crossovers should happen more frequently and more often. You know what I'm saying? We trying to make this thing just grow into just a whole conglomerate here. We trying to.
You goddamn right.
Trying to make this a conglomerate here. Trying to make this, for the wrestling fans, as Mr. LipDizzle like to say, we can tag out. But as the ninjas, we like to say, we just trying to make our ninja village proud at the end of the day.
I like that.
Thank y'all for rocking with us. We'll see y'all soon. Peace.
Out.
And motherfucker.